Thank you for listening to the show on Really Big Something Channel. April 4th, 2018.
Warning. The Savage Nation contains adult language, adult content, psychological nudity. Listener discretion is advised. And now, America's most exciting radio talk show, The Savage Nation, home of borders, language, culture. And here he is, author of Liberalism is a Mental Disorder, Trump's War, and God, Faith, and Reason, Michael Savage.
From one of the witnesses coming in, they identified a female in a white shirt. That's the one we have down in the center court area with the gunshot wound to the chest.
So confirming she is the suspect?
Affirm, that's what we were told. There is a handgun about 20 feet to the south of her.
When I criticized Trump and laid out the facts as to why I thought he should be criticized, I was criticized for that.
Wait a minute.
You know, that you were talking earlier.
Are they looking for her?
You know, a man who...
Did we cross our sound? What is this?
...shouldn't have control over nuclear weapons. And
wait a minute.
I was trying to sound as loud and alarmed as I could. But
is this the woman angry at the vid giant? Oh, no, this is Hillary Clinton. I'm sorry, I mixed up the sound.
They really didn't take the critique that seriously.
Please.
And some, as you rightly
I hope she's not an NRA member, that's all I can say.
Explicitly sexist and misogynistic.
Not again.
A long list of that.
Oh, God.
And some of it is related to
God.
themes about women.
Okay, again, misogyny, right. The women are the reason he got elected, but it's misogyny that got you unelected. Oh, please. Well, what do you want me to talk about? The woman angry at the vid giant, YouTube shoots up HQ, wounds 3. What can I say that you haven't heard 100,000 times already today? You can make all the jokes you want. Meanwhile, you're glad you didn't catch a shot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know the police interviewed her that morning at the gun range. But don't blame the police. Blame the ACLU. Blame the American American Bar Association. More specifically, the American Trial Lawyers Association. Blame the filthy judges in California. Because you know and I know if the cops had arrested her on the presumption that she was a nut job, she would have sued the police department for everything they're worth. Cops would have gone to jail. They would have claimed her civil rights were violated because A, she's, let's see, a woman. B, she's of the Baha'i faith. C, she's from Iran. 4, she's a vegan. 5, she wears size 3 shoes. Whatever they could come up with, the cops would have been blamed for. So, of course, the police couldn't detain her. Blame the ACLU. Blame the American Bar. Blame the Criminal Civil Liberties Union. Blame the judges. What are we going to do about it? You're not going to hear much more about it because it violates all the protocols of the media that she is A, a woman, B, a vegan, C, of the Baha'i faith. Yeah, I mean, if God forbid this had been done by a right-winger who was a member of the NRA, who was over 6 foot tall, white, blonde hair, blue-eyed, and Christian, you can guarantee that Wolf Blitzer would have 4 days' worth of show prep. They would have interviewed his Cub Scout leader, his grandmother, his pastor, his preacher, his undertaker, everyone they could get their hands on. They would have been outside with the microphones. Now this is gone already. Gone with the wind. What else is in the news? I don't care about the news. I hate the news. I've reached the burnout phase. I know you think it's shtick. It isn't. My brain is fried. I can't talk about it anymore. I can't. This reminds me now of Mueller with the investigation. It reminds me of the kings in England, where the king would use the chamber pot in the old days, and there was an official, I don't know what his title was, who would bring the chamber pot around to the people in the castle to see. And they would say, the king has moved his bowels. I mean, that's like Mueller has moved his bowels. There will be no new indictments today. And then if Mueller ate like some hamburger, let's say, and he didn't move his bowels, what does someone from the Justice Department walk around with a chamber pot and say, Mueller has not moved his bowels today. There will be new indictments. Rosenstein, get ready. This is what went on in the ancient days, in the Kings, the ancient days of Kings. Why don't you play that? I haven't played that in so long that there is no Britain anymore. There's no England anymore. Because that's about the ancient days of Britain when they were Brits. Now there's nothing left but curry shops in London. And, of course, the murder rate is through the roof. But don't ask Wolfie about that one. Don't ask about the connection between knife attacks in London and the religion of peace that they let in there. No, that's all. That's all. Next case. That's all. No, there isn't any England now, and I can't even go there if there was. Because there is no England now. There was an England, I'd be invited over and be given a Viking helmet. Stop it. I would rather not talk about Trump or Mueller or Democrats or Republicans, shooters or the NRA. I'd rather not talk about anything in the news. Please, God, let me talk about anything but the news. I can't. And if I'm dying from it, so are the people. I'm telling you, the people can't take another day of this crap. It's too much for us already. We're overloaded. The news is killing us all. So I would rather talk about the markings on the chromosomes of a fruit fly that talk about Mueller's investigation. The markings on the DNA of a fruit fly would be more interesting to me than rap music, for example. YouTube shooter visited gun range morning before attack, and of course the cops couldn't stop her. Why should they? They want to lose their job and get sued? No, not at all. Woman angry at Vid Giant shoots up HQ, wounds 3. Well, what can you say about it that hasn't been said? And by the way, where are the troops on the border? Sorry. Yesterday I got all excited. I thought the 82nd was going in by air. Today I wake up, they changed it from troops are going to be on the border to the National Guard. They're not there either. Can anyone listening to the show tell me how Trump can activate the National Guard, since they have to get the California National Guard, and isn't that activated, for example, by Jerry Brown? The only reason Jerry Brown would activate the California National Guard is if a Republican won a seat somewhere in the state Senate. Other than that, there's no reason for him to indict to excite anyone. Trump wants U.S. troops out of Syria. Well, so do I. They never should have been there to begin with, other than to kill ISIS. Of course we want the troops out of Syria. Trump not currently a criminal target of Mueller. That must mean he must have eaten the good curry last night, and that he had a nice movement. Mueller, that is, and he doesn't feel like indicting him today. But tomorrow, if he goes back to the old regular meal of the typical Justice Department worker, which would be meat and potatoes, he may get his bowels get locked up and someone new will be indicted. They say you can indict a ham sandwich if you want. Hey, wait a minute. I was thinking about this in sleep last night in bed. In America, aren't you innocent until proven guilty? Well, if that's the case, how come Trump's been guilty before he's been proven innocent? Wolf Blitzer, anyone listening to the show? Anyone from Fox News who steals my show every day listening? They're like recording my show now and playing it after my show in the evening on Fox News in a little slightly different order. It's great. It's very nice. Flattery is the greatest form of flattery. But it's also intellectual copyright stealing, and it's getting me very angry. The same people who won't have me on their show are stealing my content. Go figure that one out. What are you going to do about it? But isn't it true, honestly, that you're innocent until proven guilty in this country? And if you are innocent until proven guilty, why is it that Trump's been guilty now since he became president? Can any of you good liberal, you lying cockroaches answer that? You lying cockroaches, you mooks, you bums, you rats, you mooks, you bums. How can you say to me that he's guilty when there's been no trial? You mooks, you bums, you rats. You drug-dealing rat lawyers, you drug-dealing mooks, you bums, who tell us that a drug dealer caught with 30 pounds of coke in a car in New York City is not guilty until proven guilty, but Donald Trump is guilty because you want him to be guilty. You mooks, you bums, you rats. Where is Robert De Niro now that we don't need him? Oh, he's shooting another violent movie so he can come out against guns.
He's so blatantly stupid. He's a punk. He's a dog. He's a pig. He's a con, artist, a mutt who doesn't know what he's talking about.
I like the way he says "a mutt."
Doesn't care. Thinks he's gaming society. Doesn't pay his taxes.
All right, we got it. I know. You're pissed off that he got bigger than you. You were the king of New York till he came along. They were probably vying with each other for years. Who was the king of New York? It was either him or Trump. I mean, they were in an ego battle. There's no question about it. A lot of guys in New York are in an ego battle. You know, a mixture of hedge funders, this one, that one, actors, politicians. So, of course, Trump moved ahead of all of them. They hate him. It has nothing to do with politics. Behind the scenes, oh no, you're telling me Robert De Niro wants to pay more taxes. He wants Bernie Sanders in the White House. He can pay more of the money that he makes in the movies. Sure. And he doesn't have armed guards with him. He hates guns. Right. The guns you have. You mook, you bum. But the thing is, I'm serious about it. I was thinking about it last night. In America, are you not innocent until proven guilty? Well, that was true. But now Trump's been guilty before he was even proven innocent. A year and a half now he's been guilty. Whatever happened to that loudmouth liar from Southern California, the SNL thief? Indict him! Impeach! How come she shut her trap? How come she stopped screaming about impeachment? Well, they tell her to shut up and dummy up before she destroys the entire Democrat operation? Impeach! Where'd she go? What, someone tell her they were going to investigate the SNL story with her husband that owned the minority bank and gave $12 million and never got it paid back of money? All of a sudden, impeach got shut up? They dummied her up pretty good. I like saying it that way. That's a little bit of the Umberto's Clam House. When I say they dummied her up pretty good, that's like from Umberto's from those days. But it's the thing is, if you ate clams, you listened and you learned the dialect and the innuendo. Today it's dead. Even boys born into those families can't speak the way their fathers did. Where am I? Burned through a stop set already? Thank God. Thank God I'm through the first stop set. Oh, God, I need this. Okay, round one, bell. I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
The Savage Nation is sponsored by Swiss America, the only company I trust with my financial future. Call 800-289-2646 or SwissAmerica.com.
Thank you for listening to the show on Really Big Something Channel.
23 minutes after the hour. We're listening to the psycho shot up YouTube. She's famous now. What good does it do her? See why she went nuts. No wonder they turned her off YouTube. Even they couldn't take it. Oh, she was a nut. Veganism could do this to you. Sorry to step on a few raw nerves here, but, you know, shut her up already. That's the nut who did the shooting at YouTube. Look, it's a tragedy. What am I supposed to do here? I don't know. You know, what do you want me to say? I'm glad it didn't happen. Of course I'm glad it didn't happen to me. You know, as Lin Yutang said, happiness consists of getting your hair cut every 2 weeks and watching your neighbor fall off the roof. The nuts are everywhere now, and they all got guns. Whoops, I said something true. Watch out now. Why was she able to have a gun? She hit like 3 out of 4 that you shouldn't let her have a gun. 3 out of 4 she should have been denied a gun. But let's not go there because you won't understand what I'm saying. But I want to go back to the king of the stool, the king on the throne for a minute. There really was a position called the groom of the stool. I wasn't joking when I made it up. I do know my history. And you think I made it up. In the 1500s, the King of England's toilet was a velvet cushion portable seat called a close stool. And below it was a chamber pot enclosed in a wooden box. See, there was no running water until, what was his name, came along. I forget his name. No, that's a name for it. Where they pulled the flush, the thing like in The Godfather, where they put the gun behind it, the flush toilet. What was his name, the guy who invented the flush toilet? It became a noun. Anyway, there was no such thing. It was a chamber pot. And this guy had a guy who had to sit with him while he did his business. The groom of the stool, I swear to God, groom of the stool was a job. Not a personal assistant, don't get me wrong. My assistant came in with this. He said, thank God I don't have to do this yet. But the groom of the stool was named for the king's 16th century toilet. And as the king sat on his padded velvet-covered close stool, he revealed secrets. And he asked for counsel. And he could even hear of the personal and political woes of his personal groom while he was on the throne. I'm not making any of this up. And this is historically accurate. And Tracy Borman in the Private Lives of the Tudors quoted the earliest mentions of the job. A written order from 1497 for Hugh Denny's, which said, our groom of the stool. Well, you want me to read more of it, or what? You want to go to the Kardashians? Maybe they can tell you more about it. If this is not on one of the reality shows or on Fox News tonight by 7, I'll eat my fingernails. This will be like a joke that they'll throw in. So there was a groom of the stool, and what's my point? I believe that today it's the equivalent with Mueller. That if Mueller, let us say, sufficiently performs in this area, no one's indicted that day. But if, God forbid, he goes back to the normal diet of guys of his culture and of his background, which is basically mayonnaise and white bread and milk, glasses of milk, white bread and mayonnaise, and he gets constipated, 3 people get indicted the next day. In fact, I suspect that Manafort himself got this heavy sentence because it was 3 days of white bread and milk in Mueller's cabinet that did it to him. So then I believe there's a possibility you could look into that anyway, see if it's true. Because there's nothing else to explain the insanity of this whole situation. I thought we were innocent until proven guilty, but not to Wolf Blitzer. No. So here we are, and I don't want to do the news today. You want to tell Hillary Clinton everything she's explained, why she lost again? Sexism, Barack Obama, Bernie Sanders, James Comey, self-hating women, the media. This is Hillary's punch list of why she lost. Dumb voters, voter suppression, Russia, her campaign staff, the DNC. Let's see who else she blamed. Campaign finance laws, Jill Stein, the Electoral College. She blamed Anthony Weiner. Her basket of deplorables comment, she blamed everyone but herself. She's the only one who isn't responsible for her losing. Can she understand that she is despised and she's become like a ridicule, like a thing of ridicule? They should make dolls of her, bobbleheads of Hillary Clinton. Okay, next case. I've thrown 2 things at you already, and it's only 30 minutes after the first hour. I got to tell you something. I can't do this news stuff anymore. I may have to just do nutrition, health, medicine, history, science, poetry, art, stargazing, palmistry, type of shoes to wear, how to clip your dog's toenails, what to look for when buying a toy poodle, anything but the news, because the news is horrendously boring. Can I give you some of my views and reviews instead? What do you vote for, news, views, or reviews?
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-SAVAGE.
Splish splash, I was taking a bath.
Thanks, Clint. It is nonsense to talk about the news since it's all fake. You want to talk about it again? Trump is innocent until proven guilty, but why do the liberals who believe in civil rights are making him guilty until proven innocent? Explain that to me. Why? Because they're liars. It's only a matter of time till they all go off like a YouTuber. That's all. No, but I wanted to talk about the Crapper for a minute, because Thomas Crapper was actually a man in London. But there's a myth that he invented the flush toilet, but he didn't. I wanted to clear that up today on the show, since most of the news is named for him. He was actually a man who was born in 1836, was a plumber who founded Thomas Crapper and Company in London. And he was a brilliant guy. And if you go to England, manhole covers have Crapper's Company's name on them. In fact, while he didn't invent the flush toilet, no, it's an interesting fact. The flush toilet was invented by John Harrington in 1596, another great white male invention. Imagine what the world would be like if it wasn't for him. Think about white male inventions. I mean, this is probably one of the best. This beats the electric light bulb. This beats the teletype. This beats the car. If the white male John Harrington didn't invent the flushing toilet in 1596, can you imagine what the country would look like? But nevertheless, the reason that many people use that sort of scatological name of Crapper is because during World War II, servicemen stationed in England, actually in World War I, saw Crapper's name on cisterns and used it as army slang, saying, "I'm going to the Crapper." No, I'm just saying how it happened. But the word itself, crap, which many people use, is actually of Middle English origin, and it predates its application to bodily waste. Do you want to know all of this stuff? Would you rather hear me say uranium one, Democrat, Republican? I can do that if you'd like. But the word crap comes from, etymologically very interesting. It comes from the Dutch krappen, K-R-A-P-P-N, to pluck off, cut off, or separate, and the Old French crapé, not frappe, meaning siftings, waste, or rejected matter, from the medieval Latin crappa, or chaff. I know this is too much, I get it. Do you like this stuff or not? The little esoteric now? No good? But I just thought I would tell you where this all comes from, because I started the show with what I thought was a clever joke, but I see it went over like Hillary Clinton went over in the last election. You know, that's a new way of putting, she went over like a lead balloon. It went over the way Hillary Clinton still goes over, like a lead balloon. She is unbelievable. But, so where are we going to go with this? Look, here are the... Don't think I came in unprepared and I'm just blowing through the show. I'm not. Here are the questions for Wednesday, the 4th of April that I didn't want to talk about because I can't. Should we completely withdraw from Syria? Is it time to totally leave the Middle East? Do you support Trump pulling out? Wait, this is a family show. What do you mean, do you support Trump pulling out? Oh, you mean the Middle East? Will this create another ISIS? Number 2 question for the day. With Mueller admitting Trump is not a criminal, a target of his investigation, do you think this investigation will be closed before the election? I know you're going to call because you heard the show before me that he said it's a setup. Don't call, please. Not interested. What action should be taken when the Honduran caravan immigrants get to our border? Do you support giving amnesty to all of them? Jobs, housing, free toilets, free toothbrushes. Why has the media ignored the Democrats waiving background checks on the Pakistani IT guy who had access to all their records? Why? Because they are him. Have you stopped using social media after finding out how your information has been compromised? Old Zuckerberg is in trouble right now. Have your free speech rights been infringed upon on social media? Do you fear a trade battle with China? Could this spark a real war? I looked at the items that the Chinese are going to embargo now. I actually don't use any of them. I mean, it's 1,300 products. Trump slammed tariffs on 1,300 Chinese products. Cars, boat motors, defibrillators, right? And next day, the Chinese struck back, and they made a list of stuff that they're going to, it's like a war. It's a little bit of a war. And the question is, who's going to win this one? My guess is they will blink first. This economy can survive an embargo from them or a trade war. They cannot survive one from us. And I think they're going to blink first. They're going to play tough for a while, and then they're going to give in. That's what I think. So what else is in the news? I could see that you want to call about elephants. I'm not taking elephant calls. Phone number, though, is 855-400-7282. Oh, some late news here. Migrant caravan abandons plan to travel to USA border. Really? Trump frightened them? A caravan of Central American border jumpers has decided not to travel to the U.S. border. Wow. I guess they got word from Soros. She said, we will wrap up our work in Mexico City, said Irineo Mujica, the head of the migrant advocacy group People Without Borders. Who is she one? Where is this thing from? Oh, it's a he, I'm sorry. We have support teams at the border, blah, blah, blah. So they're going to go back to Honduras now? Why? I'll tell you why, because Trump got tough. He vowed to send the U.S. military to the border and threatened to axe the NAFTA, North American Free Trade Agreement. So Mexico basically said, we can't afford that, send them back. You got it? This is a huge caravan. Huge caravan. So now they're saying it's too dangerous to travel to the border by train hopping. Didn't stop them when Obama brought them in with Zika. They train hopped. So now these Hondurans are going to travel to the city of Puebla for a conference, then on to Mexico City for a series of demonstrations. The Mexicans don't like demonstrations too much. The group of border hoppers includes Hondurans, Salvadorans, Guatemalans, and Nicaraguans, mostly fleeing the brutal gang violence that has made Central America home to some. Organizers say Mexico immigration are working with the migrants to get them papers. Are you kidding? They're not going to stay in Mexico. They're not going to keep. They can't afford them. I feel bad for the people. We have no room for them. It's that simple. There's no jobs for them here. We don't have any housing. We don't have any medical care. Nothing. So it's very sad. The world is crowded. A lot of poor people. Read the Bible. Right? The Bible says there will never be an end to it. Trade battle is over. The stocks have roared back. Let's see. Facebook raises number impacted. I don't want to just read the Drudge Report. That's like the bottom of the. If you revert to reading the Drudge Report in the first hour, you're finished in talk radio. That means you have no creative ideas. Or you hear paper shuffling and you say that we're loaded for bear. We have lots of stuff. The stack is big. We can hardly get to our news. We love the show. When you hear that, you know they're dying. They're dying up there. China escalates escalates trade war. Why is it that the newspapers are taking the side of China, the American newspapers? You know how twisted they are? Oh, so they retaliated. Soybeans now. Now they're not going to take us soybeans. You want me to read you a list of stuff? None of you care. Here's some of the stuff they're going to tariff. 25%. It's funny, I called for 25% against their goods. when I wrote the last book about tariffs. And it includes soybeans, cars, chemicals, target U.S. corn, cotton, beef, orange juice, whiskey, tobacco, several lubricants, they mean mechanical lubricants, and plastic products. So there's more for us. So our prices of corn, cotton, beef, orange juice, whiskey, tobacco, and our lubricants will go down. Because they're not going to take them. They're going to get a lot of that junk sitting here. So the manufacturers have to cut the prices. So Trump hit them with 1,300 Chinese products, and we're going to impose 25% tariffs. So they responded in kind. And I believe that China will back off first, because they are in much worse shape than you may know. Now, I know you say they hold our notes, they could turn them in and we're finished, right? You know, but I don't know. I think they're going to cave first because their economy, in some ways, is more, although they're doing great, this could set them into a spiral, and it could cause such unrest in China that the people will finally turn on the communist authoritarian government, which is the last thing they want over there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm guessing that they're going to blink first. We'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, here on the ranch called the United States of America, we can breathe a sigh of relief. The border invaders have given up and they're going back. And that's it. There's nothing else to talk about. I'm going to open it up to you. Because I have the shooter playing her YouTube tape. I have Hillary Clinton. Do we have the Meet His Murder music video? Or I don't want to make fun of her. She was a nutcase. She went to a gun range the morning before the attack. The police knew it. They couldn't do anything. I'd rather talk about orgies, blackmail, and anti-Semitism, and inside the Islamic cult, whose leader is embraced by Israeli figures. That's an interesting story, because behind the scenes of the Islamic leadership of this guy, he's like a Hollywood type, like a West Hollywood type, which is true for most religious figures. Behind the scenes, they're all deviants. Not all, don't get me wrong. A lot of them. On the front for the flock, they do one thing. Behind the, Hillary Clinton blames misogyny, FBI, sexism, NRA, Russia for 2016 loss. Can she give it up already? Can she just go back and be a grandmother and leave us alone? Please. Please leave us alone. Phone number is 855-407-2824. Presumed dead in a California Marine helicopter crash. Sad. Lesbian mom was caught on surveillance video in Fort Bragg, California, before deadly highway crash off Pacific Coast Highway. That didn't make it to Fox News. Because, again, it wasn't a normal married white couple that drove their children off a cliff. So because there's no leftist grist for the mill, that story of the two lesbians who drove their children, who were some black and multicultural children, off the cliff, that didn't make it to the news. Because it violates all of the leftist, whatever they call it. Trump will guard our border with military. Take that off my website. He's not doing it anymore. They don't need it. They turned around. UK to introduce one of the world's toughest ivory bans. Good story. Unusual forms of nightmare antibiotic-resistant bacteria detected in 27 states. Ho-hum, who cares? Eat garlic. Stay away from crowds. Oh, this is an interesting story on my website. Canelo Alvarez withdraws from rematch with Gennady Golovkin, the Ukrainian, after failed drug tests. I'm a boxing fan. I'm not a boxer. I'm a boxing fan. It's two different things. That's like being a baseball fan and not a baseball player. Or did I tell you it's like being a football fan and not a football player? So I like to watch the fights because I'm always amazed that men are this tough that they can take blows to the head and not die. It's that simple. I don't know how anyone can do this. What are they made of? How do their heads take such shock? You know what force is in each punch? So Canelo Alvarez is a fabulous fighter. And he was going to fight tonight, actually, last night, I think. Oh, no. The big May 5th rematch was scheduled with Golovkin. But they canceled it because of 2 positive doping tests and the anticipated ban from the Nevada Athletic Commission. Now, this is an interesting point that I saw. The boxer who was banned from the big match with Golovkin was going to be one of the biggest matches of 2018. They found traces of a prohibited steroid, clenbuterol, in his system. Now listen to what he said. The boxer said the results were caused by eating tainted Mexican meat during a training stint in Guadalajara. Do you believe that? That you can get steroids in your system from eating tainted Mexican meat? Well, maybe that YouTuber wasn't wrong, the anti-meater, who killed because of meat. You got to kill. Meat is murder. She did a Meat is Murder music video. I mean, if Canelo Alvarez had only listened to the YouTube shooter's video and took it seriously, and became a vegan, well, he would have had to give up fighting, but he wouldn't have been as embarrassed. Anyway, the time is marching on here. I hope you're enjoying my news, views, and reviews, because this is what you're going to get today. This is not going to be logical. It's going to be paralogical. If you can handle it, be here when I get back. Otherwise, goodbye.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
The Savage Nation is sponsored by Swiss America, the only company I trust with my financial future. Call 800-289-2646 or SwissAmerica.com.
Thank you for listening to the show on Really Big Something Channel.
Hey, have you ever taken your car in for an oil change and the mechanic finds something wrong and surprise, you're hit with a repair bill you didn't expect? It happened to all of us. But look, if you have extended vehicle protection like so many do, you don't have to worry about those unexpected surprises. Look, if your car breaks down after the manufacturer's warranty expires, you could be out of pocket thousands to get it fixed. Did you know replacing your engine, what do you think that's going to cost? A penny? Thousands? Simple repair with sensor could cost over $1,000. And there's nothing simple about today's cars. CarShield makes the process of fixing your car for a covered repair super easy. You can have your favorite mechanic or dealership do the work. It's your choice. They also provide you 24/7 roadside assistance and a rental car while yours is being fixed for nothing, for free. So if your car has 5,000 to 150,000 miles, it doesn't mean you have to pay high repair bills. CarShield administrators have paid out close to $2 billion in claims. They're the real McCoy. They're ready to help you. Save yourself thousands in future car repairs. I'm a car guy. This is a great company. Get covered by the ultimate extended vehicle protection like I did. Call 800-CAR-6100. 800-CAR-6100. Mention code SAVAGE. You better. Or visit carshield.com and use code SAVAGE, and you're going to save 10%. That's carshield.com, code SAVAGE, or call 800-CAR-6100. 800-CAR-6100 and mention code SAVAGE. A deductible may apply. So, look, as our number one draws to a conclusion, I will tell you right now that in my 24-some-odd years of radio, I have rarely hit a state like this, where the people are so uninterested in anything I am saying that they're not calling the show. Now, I can have you call by talking about the Second Amendment. So I'm going to do something I have never done. You're so brainwashed by the simplicity of talk radio as it has devolved that you're unable to follow what I'm talking about and understand the humor, the sarcasm, and join in. Jim, come on the phone. Jim is a call screener, a good one at that. He's a mature gentleman. He's wearing a fedora on Mulberry Street. He's been in radio many years. Jim, what are they calling about? Tell the audience what kind of crappy calls you're getting today.
Well, as usual, right at the beginning is the regulars who call, like the ones who complain about the Jews, quote unquote.
Really? You get an anti-Semite with a robo-dial?
Yes, there's one in particular. And then apparently there's some robo-calling going on, thanking you for protecting the elephants. That's been a big deal today. And then people want to call about the Second Amendment or what's in the Constitution.
Oh, God.
Yeah, things like that.
Oh, God, like a bad high school civics class.
Right.
Where the teacher has a $39 suit with a tuna fish stain on his lapel. So that's the kind of callers you're getting today. What is going on in radio? Do you guys think it's
repeating what you're saying?
Is this changing? Is radio changing in front of our eyes? Has the audience gone somewhere else? Where are they? The numbers are still there. My ratings are very high. I don't understand where the people are, the callers. Well, they just want to talk about the same Mueller and Trump every day? I can't do it. Look, maybe it's the newspapers that are doing it to them. You open up the New York Post, for example. So they have pictures of one dumb blonde after another. For example, Kelly Ripa's nutritionist says people don't understand her diet. I don't know who Kelly Ripa is. Every day there's another daffy-looking, nobody Hollywood starlet with some stupid story about her tattoos, her toenails, her diet. You know they pay for the placement in the newspapers. I think the worst job in the world would be to be like a middle-aged blonde starlet who no one knows to try and get placement on page 6. That'd be a curse worse than death, to try and be relevant every day in a world where people don't want to listen to these dumbos.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE.
Thank you for listening to the show on Really Big Something Channel.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
So, I'm a dog, and I just got adopted by this new human guy, and I'm starting to wonder how he got along without me. I mean, okay, something as simple as walking around the block. He's got this leash thing, and he puts me on one end and him on the other, and I'm just taking him around. I think he's afraid of getting lost. Without that leash and me guiding him along, I don't think he'd find his way back home. But it's kind of cute.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.